Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Set It Straight with Doc Bots. I am your co-host, Todd Bavone with Gotham Trinity Productions, joined by Michael Graziuso, partner over there at Gotham Trinity Productions. We're going back and forth about the COVID-19, anything from mental state, and last episode, boy, we were pretty down. So it feels good to be back alive, a little bit of more of a schedule, feeling strong. Want to touch on vaccines at this point, and also the large amount of conspiracy theories that have been out there, Mike.
Well, you know what it is? It's like people think that, vaccines are like causes of autism and stuff like people are like, oh, I don't want to get my kids vaccinated. I'm like, well, keep your kids away from me. It's like I don't get it. And the thing is, it's like, I guess once that we can lock down a vaccine for this, I think everything could go back to normalcy, or was that the word?
It's normality, but who's keeping score at home? That's all right. So, I think someone is here to debunk that, actually, and his name is Doc Bots. We spoke about this, and it sounds like what Mike is saying is not 100% accurate. Like, if we just come out with a vaccine, we're all good. It could be the case where we need a booster. Doc, is that right? Could this be like, I forget what other diseases or illnesses out there where you need a second booster or whatnot? Go ahead, Doc.
Well, you guys remember chicken pox, maybe. I don't know. In our generation, the chicken pox were something that was a rite of passage. And every once in a while, somebody would get really sick from the chicken pox and maybe need to be hospitalized or have a much more severe illness. And so a vaccination was developed. And the virus that causes the chicken pox is like other things that we vaccinate, measles, mumps, rubella. These are things for which we don't have great treatments. And so giving somebody a little bit of the poison, a little bit of the antigens that present on the virus allows our immune system to kick in. But in relation to what happens once you're immune, as you know, there are boosters for vaccinations. And over time, those boosters are given so that your immune system has sort of like a re-up, right? Because your immunity will wane over time. It's sort of the same reason we give older folks a shingles vaccine, because that virus can reactivate and cause a different disease in older people.
Wow. So, God, isn't that amazing to think of? Like the chicken pox, for instance, how long ago we figured that out, but we had to get to that point. And how long did it take to get to that point? And for everything else, that we're in the infancy of this. And we're in the trial stages of testing, trying to find a cure or a vaccine and figuring out its mutations and everything that we've been discussing for so long. It's mind-boggling to think about all that. But that's why we have professionals to do all that.
But Doc, are you saying that even if they come out with a vaccine, that it just wouldn't be enough? And we're not even talking about the virus mutating to do something else. Like the what is it? It's the SARS-CoV-2. So
Right.
So even if that doesn't even mutate, you still might need to get a vaccine, then constant boosters of it. That's insane.
So we don't know that yet. The antibody test will tell us which antibodies we're developing in response to the virus. There's talk of whether or not this virus can reactivate. There are people who have been infected who are reinfected. And we don't know enough about that yet to answer that question. So the answer is stay tuned. That's the way science happens. It happens in stages. Right now, we are aware that once you're infected with COVID, corona SARS-2 virus, and your body develops IgG, which is the antibody that stays with you for the long term, our suspicion is that will last for some period of time. Some people speculate it'll last for as little as 2 or 3 years. Others speculate that it may last, close to a lifetime. But it's hard to know exactly in this moment because this is a new virus and we don't have the antibody information yet. We just don't know what's going to be. As far as vaccines being part of some conspiracy theory, vaccines are maybe the greatest success of modern medicine. And you guys know the story of how the association was made between autism and vaccines?
No.
No.
All right. So there's this British doctor years ago who wanted publicity. And so he created a study. He didn't actually do a study. He created it from a figment of his imagination. And he published it. And the medical journal accepted it. And over time, he admitted that he fabricated this entire thing. But unfortunately, once the information was out there in the world, people refused to accept the fact that the association between autism and vaccinations didn't actually exist. And people will create all types of correlations. And you guys ever hear the concept of correlation versus causation? So correlation and causation, this idea, even though something happens in one space in the universe and something else happens here, they're correlated in the sense that they both happen simultaneously, but there's no actual causation. And there's lots of examples on websites that are completely devoted to this scientific concept because it's so important. In terms of vaccinations, there's not even a strong correlation. That's been tried. The study that British doctor fabricated has been repeated multiple times, and every time it's been repeated, it has been shot down completely. So there is no association. There never was. There never has been, and there never was in repeated trials a correlation or causation between vaccines and autism.
Propaganda.
It's propaganda, and unfortunately, people hold on to it because they want to do whatever they can to protect their kids. And if you've ever seen measles, mumps, rubella, and other viruses that can destroy people's lives, you would understand that the risk of a vaccine is so infinitesimally small compared to what these diseases can do to populations.
I can't imagine there not being a chickenpox or measles vaccine. I can't believe it's gone though, because I remember having it as a kid. I not the mumps. I had the chickenpox. What's that pink bottle, Doc?
Shucks, I can't even think of the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. The calamine lotion.
The calamine
lotion.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm dying from the chicken pox, and my parents went to the pharmacy. They brought back this pink bottle, and I'm sitting there like, so Ma, do I drink it? Ma, do I drink it? So like she's not paying attention. She's all like frantic, trying to get gloves to put it on. And I turn around and I drink it. So by the time she turns back around, I already drank the whole bottle. So they had to take me in the bathroom. They took me to the hospital. It was a big ordeal. So thank God that those are gone. I wouldn't be able to handle with that.
I remember the oatmeal bats. The oatmeal bats. Going in an oatmeal bath. Like, what the hell is this?
I used an oatmeal bath when I had the plant dermatitis. What is that plant that causes dermatitis?
Poison ivy.
Poison ivy. There you go. Yeah. So,
yeah.
The oatmeal bath lives on, but the calamine lotion, I haven't seen that in forever. Does anybody still use calamine lotion for anything? I'm not a dermatologist, so I don't know.
I
still see it on the shelves. It's still there, and I remember that day.
Yeah.
Tastes a little chalky, but it's not bad.
Tastes chalky.
What other? Now he knows that. What other conspiracies have we been hearing out there? I'm trying to think what else has been coming across the wire, or what else
people want to talk about the fact that this is a manufactured disease. That somebody manufactured this disease. And what I would say to that is it probably doesn't really matter if it was manufactured now, which sounds really strange, but the thing to consider is this: the Chinese were ready for this disease. We were not. The way that it was handled in Singapore, for example, with tracking and early detection, we missed those opportunities. And now there's talk of governors and states opening things up. You sent me that article, Todd, right, about North Dakota and Iowa?
That's correct.
Yeah. And this concept of herd immunity. You need to get 50% of the population infected and resolved before there's an actual herd immunity. If 50% of the people in Iowa and South Dakota get infected, that is going to be an absolute nightmare for those states to deal with. So I'm not really sure what the governors are experimenting with there, but they're doing an experiment on a population level that is unprecedented, and we really have no idea what to expect. God willing, the numbers will not be as bad as we would expect them to be based on the computer models of infectivity with this thing. Right. But, make no mistake about the infectivity of this virus. It's very, very contagious. People can walk around for 14 days spreading it.
That's right, Doc. I mean, there's just so much out there, and I agree. What the governors are doing, it's preemptively and getting ahead of this way too soon. So I don't agree with their approach, much like what you said. And I think we need to be smart going down the curve and whatnot. So But he brings up great points, and it's constantly stay tuned, right, Mike? Just stay tuned. We'll see.
And stay tuned to Set It Straight with Doc Butts.